Hello and welcome back to the largest YouTube alpha male podcast. I'm your host, Dude Bro, and I haven't cried since the age of 6. I love ads. And I know this might be the exact opposite of what the title and thumbnail imply, but I do. I do because it enables people to do creative and educational stuff for completely free. They don't need to put their content behind a paywall because simply ads fund the whole thing. How many hours of entertainment did you get for completely free this week from TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, etc.? Just because ads exist. And at the same time, because of ads, brands are pushed to be more competitive and mindful of their audience. And ads are a whole creative challenge too. Advertising isn't just selling a product, it's selling a whole idea, creating a brand image. It's making something that will shift how people think. And on a philosophical level, ads are sort of everything, like this video you're watching right now. I am trying to sell you the idea that this video is worth watching, that it's going to be entertaining and worth your time. So yes, I love ads. But this video isn't what that's about. This video is about the current state of ads. I hate how bad today's adverts are, especially when it comes to short form video. I hate it more than the people that stand still on moving platforms in airports. Did your legs stop working? Wow, that's a really bad joke. That's a really bad joke. Let's take a trip down history lane. About 1 million years ago, before TVs even existed, advertising was super simple. Put up a sign or a poster saying, "Good cows for sale," and that was it. You were a marketing genius. But then TVs came along, and I think this was the golden era of advertising, but it made things really hard. Suddenly you could say whole stories in just small ad spots. You have to create memorable and cool visuals. You have to relate with viewers. You have to create a whole brand identity, slogans, and you have to make the whole thing entertaining at the same time. I just realized I've been doing the middle finger at you this whole time. This mic actually clips on quite hard, so it was hiding my first finger, that's why I changed. But there was one benefit with all of this. Although it was really hard to create adverts, you at least had people's attention. People were watching the TV. They weren't just going to switch channels just because they saw one advert. And now, I think advertising's harder than ever. Because you have all the previous shenanigans, all the previous difficulties, but you don't even have people's attention. If you see an ad that isn't interesting enough, you'll literally just swipe to the next story or post within milliseconds. And that's quite simply because you don't care enough about the ad. When you're sitting watching a YouTube video, as soon as an ad pops up, it's just a trigger for you to get up, to click the button to skip it. So you have all the difficulties of the past, but you also don't have people's attention. Now you need to earn people's attention, which is super hard. And because of that, somewhere in the transition from traditional media to modern day media, something went super wrong. Today's adverts fucking suck. And I'm not saying that TV adverts on average were good, but we have reached the point where brands think they can use brain rot to sell their products.
Xiaomi is edging to show you our most skibidi phone yet. We've rope-maxed the specs beyond what the Gooners thought was possible in a Giat.
I shit you not, this is the actual post on their page. And I guarantee you, it is worse than you actually think. And I can prove it to you. Think of a brand, any brand, and search it on TikTok. You will be disappointed. And let's look at some examples. Remember how Coca-Cola supposedly made Santa red because of their adverts? Now they are doing this AI shit. This was in my home country, Greece too. They didn't even bother to translate it. They just put some shitty captions. And they encourage you to make your own AI image, which will somehow make you buy Coca-Cola. And Apple, did you know that Apple spends literal billions of dollars each year for ads? Let that sink in. But they are so embarrassed of how bad their ads are that they literally delete them. Last time I checked the TikTok, they had shitty tutorials for iPhones from random creators, not even like big established creators, just random ones. Or how about this brand that I'm not going to even tell you the name? You can just understand what it is just from this one soundbite. They have their new intern on an Android. Need I go on? But why? Why has it been so long since I last saw a good ad? Why have we gotten to this point? And if I had to guess, it's untrained interns, big management teams scamming other companies, and the most important of all, big numbers are attractive. Think of it this way, it's a whole lot easier spending 90% of your budget just buying views rather than spending 100% of your budget making a really good ad and letting it get organic views. And guess what? At the end of the day, the one that you bought views on will have a whole lot more views because you bought them. So even though the good adverts that has way less views will be significantly better for your brand, your boss won't think so because it's got smaller numbers on the screen. And I actually know this happens because I've actually experienced it. I used to have a decently large following on TikTok, so I got offered to make an advert. I got offered by a middleman agency that sort of seeked out creators and everything. I agreed to do the advert and told the middleman agency that it will take me a little while to actually make sure that the video will perform. But they told me not to worry about that because if it did just flop, they would pay $20 to buy views so that it looks impressive to the other brand. Obviously, the other brand doesn't know about this, but it obviously works because they were a big middleman agency with many clients. And just a quick side note before we move on, the crazy thing is TikTok doesn't even know how to make adverts. Let me repeat, TikTok does not know how to make adverts for its own platform. Look at this.
What are you searching for on TikTok right now?
I'm searching for the best footwear.
Does that seem like a good advert to you? Oh man, you know when you want bub, but it just doesn't come out, so you just gotta force it, but then it's not as good. A different byproduct of bosses caring only about views and not about the actual results is doing anything for views. Irrelevant trends, shit posting, and meme accounts seem to be the bread and butter of corporate brand accounts. And I don't think it's always bad creating content like this, but it almost always is. For example, let's look at Lotus Cars, you know, the premium luxury car brand. They have been posting the exact opposite of what their brand actually represents. Like, it seriously doesn't take long to find a sex joke or I show speed raging. And like, it's kind of funny, especially coming from a brand like Lotus, but there is no way this is good for their brand image. It definitely doesn't convince you, wow, these cars are luxurious and good and, I don't know, nice. Instead, it gives you a cheap and desperate vibe, which is definitely not what they're going for. Now, there's definitely a time and a place for shit posting and memes. Two brands come to mind. One is Supercell and the other is Duolingo. And the reason why I think they are benefiting from shit posting is because these brands don't need to convince you to actually download their app. They just want to remind you that they exist. Because it's very likely that you've downloaded the app or you have in the past. So that just reminds you that, oh, I can boot up my Clash of Clans and upgrade my king or something. Or like, maybe I should do my Spanish lesson. ¿Cómo estás, biblioteca? And the memes do exactly that. They just remind you to open the app. And they're wildly successful at it too. They get millions and millions of views. And they make it look so simple. All they do is make content for their target audience with one goal in mind. And it fulfills that one goal. But that's enough positivity. Let's go back to being negative. I love dropshipping ads because they're so shit. Like, meme accounts are almost always bad. And I don't understand how brands pay pros to do this. So obviously, if it's bad when paid professionals make content like this, it's going to be terrible when you get unpaid unprofessionals, aka dropshippers. Everyone in this cult just posts the same video with their own product instead of someone else's. Like, search up on TikTok, my product is bad. Like, do you still want me to buy your product after you saying that your product is bad or what? Oh, like, you don't? Is this reverse psychology? And I don't think these ever actually work. Like, do you know anyone that bought something because they saw a TikTok ad about it? These products are obviously mass-produced, overpriced, and are barely unique. So anyway, can we actually start making good ads? Maybe it's a good thing though. Maybe we consume less or something.